Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me today. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to paint some tulips. Should be very easy, hopefully. I'll try to make it as easy as possible for beginners. And I'll be showing you step by step how to do it all the way through from start to finish. I've got my husband, Mark, with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's going to be manning chat for us today. And so let's get started. Okay, so I did a little example off of that photograph just to kind of get an idea of the colors. I couldn't really get that same kind of vibrant glow. Go ahead and put the picture up there. I haven't been able to find that kind of fuchsia, almost like fluorescent color, but we'll try to get as close as we can with what we have. So I'll go over our colors here. We've got titanium white. This is burnt sienna, quinacridone magenta. I went with a Naphthol Crimson, which you can use any like medium red that you have. Cadmium Orange, cadmium yellow medium, phthalo green yellow shade, teal, phthalo blue green shade, ultramarine blue. This is light ultramarine blue, and this one is Dioxazine Purple. Looks like black, but it's not. You can get this teal color by mixing these two together plus white. And you can get the light ultramarine just by putting white with your ultramarine blue. So those can be mixed. And then I'm also going to be using my Flourescent Pink Flow High Flow acrylic, but it moves around on the palette. So I'm not going to put it out until we need it. Because it will merge with everything else. All right, and then I've got just a few brushes. We're going to use a large brush for the background, and then a couple Filberts for most of the flowers, and then I've got a couple of smaller brushes in case we need to do any details. So this is the number 2 bright and the number 1 round, number 4 and number 6 Filbert, and then this one's the number 12 bright. So let's get started here. We've got I decided to go with a little bit smaller canvas today, 8 by 10. So that's our starting point, and I've got a panel for this. It's a gesso, pre-gessoed panel, but you can really use any size canvas you'd like. So I'm going to get a little bit of water on my brush and just kind of wring it off so I have the extra off of there. And let's start out with the background. We'll do some of this green. Get a little bit of the phthalo green and some of that teal. And just a little bit of white. The soft green. Just the teal kind of helps us have a head start on our canvas. And if I was using a regular canvas and not a panel, I would spray my canvas first with a little bit of water. That will help these colors blend, because we're going to be doing like this wet on wet thing here and kind of giving it that kind of dreamy, soft quality in the background. So I'll get a little bit more white. I think I want a little bit lighter back up here. There we go. And I'm just going to be doing small brush strokes, kind of in a vertical way. And I want all these kind of streaks happening, so don't overblend it too much. I'm just going to be picking up different colors and setting them on the canvas and then moving on and grabbing another color. And that's how you get this kind of soft blended look without and then if I did want to, like, say I didn't want it to be so my brush strokes to show so much, I could kind of go back over and just lightly, very lightly brush through it to kind of soften it up. But I'm not wanting it too blendy. I like the streaks. So this can be as impressionist or whatever as you want it to be. This is kind of one of those fun projects, again, that I like to do for beginners because it's good practice for blending, but it really doesn't have a right or wrong way of doing it. So it's a little bit more forgiving, a little bit less intimidating, hopefully. And just remember to make sure not to go back over your areas once they start to dry. So we'll work from one section to another, and then don't go back into that another other area until after it's dried again, so that it doesn't lift off of your canvas. Let's get a little bit of yellow. We'll do a little bit of a yellow green in some places. Kind of right here in the middle area, I'm going to do kind of a lighter band of color. And you can see on our example how it kind of goes from darker closer to us, and then it's sort of lighter up at the top. So I'm going to try to do that with my colors too. And what that does is gives you the illusion of depth. Even though you're not even seeing anything in the background at all. It's not anything that's you know, definitive. You're not seeing mountains or, you know, fields or the horizon line even, but just that little bit of color change, the value change between the light and dark area gives you that illusion of depth. So adding that light color right along that kind of horizon line there, and then as we get down toward the bottom, I'm going to add more of the teal, and I'm going to start doing smaller brush strokes because this area is just a little bit more defined in our photograph. And I'm kind of just using the edge of my brush to kind of smush down these little brush strokes. I'm going to grab a little tiny bit of that phthalo blue. Little tiny bit is all you need. We'll add a little bit of that. If you want to, you could switch to a brush like your Filbert or something like that at this point, if you wanted some smaller brush.
So how are you doing this morning?
How am I doing? I'm doing good.
Yeah,
how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
Hope everybody else is doing well too. Hi to our audience who's watching us today live.
Yeah.
Hope you're having a good weekend. Early start to our weekend here for us. We're at an early time again. Not really intentional this time. We just had some last minute stuff come up.
Yeah, we have family plans going on,
Yep.
so
Yep.
we appreciate everybody adjusting their schedule to
Yes, we do. Definitely.
to let us come into their home or wherever they're watching on right now.
Some of that light color again. Yeah, actually, it was kind of nice having the early time. We may do this from time to time. You know, I don't think it'll be like our normal every time, but it is kind of nice to do it every now and then to have, especially because we can get our European audience watching with us on the weekends, maybe.
All right. Jane's got a question for you.
Hey, Jane.
Would like to know if they could do the background with a sponge effect.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that would be nice.
Okay.
Definitely.
I think
Yeah, you could do a bokeh. I mean, I noticed that there is kind of a slight bokeh effect where, you know, you could use the little sponge, little round sponge. I think that's what she means. Yeah, it would look really cool, I think.
Well, she said background with the sponge effect of your paints where they dry too quickly. So I don't think they would dry too quickly.
Would the paints dry too quickly if she'd use the sponge?
Right, I think.
Okay. I don't think so. I think it, you know, you can do it in layers if it's drying too quickly for you. Here I mixed a little bit of the teal and the darker teal. This is what you would start out with if you were trying to mix that color. So the phthalo blue, phthalo green. I still have these other colors on my brush though, so it's blending and making a little bit softer color. It's not quite as dark as it would be. I'm just adding a little bit as I get down towards the bottom. I'm getting a little bit darker. This again is just the things that are closer to you generally in landscapes are going to be darker, more in focus, And the farther away you get, the lighter it'll get. And I think I still want to lighten up this background a little bit more. So I'm afraid I didn't mess with it too much because it's kind of wet right now. And let's grab a little bit of this light ultramarine blue. We'll add a few little bits of that in a couple places. I think that's good for that big brush. I'm going to switch to a smaller brush. Clean that out.
So if it's your first time watching a Angela Anderson video, whether live or recorded, thank you for joining us. Hit the subscribe button. It's somewhere out there, right? And then a thumbs up. Oh, wait a minute. Oh. So what size brush are we using?
Now we've switched to the number 4 Filbert.
Number 4 Filbert.
Yes.
Got to do that play-by-play there.
Right, thank you.
For everyone.
Appreciate it.
Anyways, also down below the video, there's links to all kinds of things. Amazon store to buy stuff.
Brush Guys website where you can find the brushes.
Right. And a 5% off code down there too.
Yep.
Links to social media, Facebook, Instagram,
Patreon,
Twitter.
where you can buy the traceables if you want to do traceables for these kind of projects.
Yeah, you can support Angela's channel. There's traceables for $1 a month. And that's for all the traceables back to February of 2016.
Yep.
And also, then there's different levels to get access to
yellow and white here, and I've mixed in a little bit of the teal with this. So.
Hey, I'm talking here.
Oh, well, I know you're taking a long time to do.
What are you interrupting with painting stuff? Oh, okay. I guess speed talk like they do at the end of those commercials.
Yeah.
10% down. Doesn't have tax fees, license. Okay.
Move along.
I'm not an auctioneer. Come
okay,
on.
Well.
I can't go any faster, Jim.
Okay. Okay.
Fine, anyways. Patreon, there's levels. You can get access to a special Facebook group and also to monthly bonus videos.
Yes.
And stuff like that. Check it out.
Very good. Thank you.
Back to Angela.
Well, I don't have anything to say right now. I just wanted you to stop talking.
It was like you were in the bedroom the other day listening to music, and the cat was on the bed looking at you, meowing like, shut up.
I know, yes. Yeah. Yeah, well, I was on the treadmill, and I had the music playing really, really loud in the bedroom, and Oliver came in, Oliver, our outdoor cat. He does not like loud noises. And he came in and he was standing on the bed looking at me, meowing at me like, shut it. Shut it off. This is too loud. I'm trying to sleep.
I will cut you.
Exactly. He would too. He was giving me the stare. All right. So I'm just adding little bits of yellow, little small brush strokes. And really this is, if this is too much for you and you don't feel comfortable doing this, you could leave it out. You can just, add these colors in as you do the first layer. But I'm just adding layers upon layers just to kind of give it some interesting texture and some stuff happening in this background. Our tulips are going to be our main focus, though, so I want to keep all these colors very soft and kind of blendy so that there's nothing that's really too, like, eye-catching that'll distract from our main focus on the flowers, but this will kind of give it some really fun, different stuff back here, I think.
So
add some of this purpley color and add some white to it. This is that light ultramarine blue. What?
Nikki would like to know, is the background dry?
No, and that's why I'm kind of being really careful because I don't want to lift up the color. So no, it is not. Technically, you probably ought to hit it with the hairdryer before you do this part here. So doing a little bit of this color, this light ultramarine blue back in here too as well. Just be careful that you don't mix the light ultramarine blue directly with your yellow, because the ultramarine blue is almost like a purple blue, And purple and yellow obviously are opposite on the color wheel. And so if you mixed, here, I'll show you. You mix the yellow with an ultramarine blue, and you're going to get like a gray-green. It's going to be kind of a little bit of an ugly color. I mean, it's fine. It's actually an olive green, which is not bad. We'll use a little bit of it here, now that I say that. We'll use a little. It's actually not too bad. Now that I say don't do that, go ahead and do it. As I saw what it looked, yeah, because it's always good to have kind of a little bit of a neutralizing color, especially when you're using really, really bright colors. This will kind of, I don't know, give it a little bit of a different, it kind of brings everything down and kind of grounds it a little bit. So I'm not minding it. Okay. Clean that out really well. There's one thing about this plastic tub that I started using a plastic tub instead of my glass jar because it's lighter for carrying, and I was afraid I was going to drop my glass jar carrying it to the sink, but it doesn't. There's nothing. It like bends so much when I put my brush against it. It just kind of bends with it instead of, there's nothing solid for it, so it's harder to clean my brush out. Okay, so let's see. I like that. I think I want to add some more of that, a little bit darker color right in here. So I'm going to use a little bit of the phthalo green and phthalo blue. A little bit more of the blue than the green. And I'm going to go right in here. Add some little brush strokes. And at first it's going to look really dark. I'm just going to add a few little dabs in a couple places. And then in order to make that look like it's kind of part of the background, we'll grab that teal color. That's kind of our unifying color for this whole background. And we'll kind of go over those edges a little bit. And I'll wipe off some of that dark color. Grab a little bit of that teal. There we go. And this will just kind of settle that color in and make it part of that background, so that it kind of bridges the gap between that really, really dark and the lighter colors. I'm just kind of going around it a little bit. I think I want some phthalo green, a little bit of white. Teal. So I'm grabbing the teal and blending over it, and then I'm going to grab a little bit of that dark color again and go over it while that teal is wet, and it'll kind of blend in with the teal slightly. A little bit higher. Some of that green. Right, and then I'm going to grab some white here. I'll work on that transition area between these two. Add some of this lighter color back in right here. A little bit real bright right along that line between the dark and light areas. And you're going to have a different look to yours than mine because you're going to be holding your brush a little bit different. You might be, you know, giving it different pressure, a little bit different twist of the wrist when you're, you know, laying your color down. So don't try to, you know, copy mine necessarily. Just kind of try to get, you know, express yourself in it, in this. Get your own, you know, develop your own kind of style for it. Really no right or wrong method here. And it's this kind of way of painting is pretty fun because it actually is very much an expression of you, your individual style. So don't, you know, get discouraged if you think that it doesn't look like mine or, you know, whatever. I think that this one especially is one that you can kind of make your own. All right, I think that that's good. So you can see how we, you know, we did the dark and kind of medium right in here, and then now, you know, the lighter all up in here, and that just kind of gives us a little bit of depth, and I think that that's good. I just wanted some really dark and some really light areas back here to play off our tulips once we get them going. I think I might add just one more layer of a little bit of the bright color back there, maybe just a teeny tiny bit of purple. And these are all dry back on here now, so we can do this without worrying about it lifting. Okay, we're good. Mark's been really quiet ever since I told him he was talking too much.
No, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. My antivirus is blocking the video on the computer.
Really?
On my computer, at least.
Huh. That's weird.
I can see chat.
You can see the video? Okay. Is it the new one that we just got?
No.
It's one from work?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we need to get you your own laptop. You can use my tablet here. You want to use that?
Yeah. I'm switching to the iPad here.
Okay. Mark's having technical issues there, I guess. All right. First world problems, exactly. You're so abused.
Okay.
Being oppressed by your...
Okay, we're still live.
We're still live? Okay, good. All right, adding a little bit of that teal, kind of with some white here. Some of that teal color that's down in here, a little bit more up in the sky. Or really, this is, I don't think this is necessarily sky. I think it's more fields back here, but we're just not seeing them as distinctly. Just lots of different colors happening. And let's add a little pop of these lighter colors down in here too. Just a few. So we'll not have as many, but we do want some of those lighter things happening in here. And I'm kind of going on top of those dark areas so that maybe, you know, if it's some grasses or bushes or something, it may look like they're highlighted. Okay, just a few. I could do this all day. This is so fun. I mean, really. This could be a painting in of itself, just doing these kind of little dots and kind of playing with the colors and blending and all of that. It's a lot of fun. It looks a little bit like a Monet right now. Not that I'm, saying it looks as good as a Monet. It just looks a little bit like a Monet.
Count
reminds
de
me of
Monet?
his colors. What?
Is it Count de Monet?
Yeah. Claude Monet. All right. So I think that's good. Let's try to draw our tulips on here, and we'll see how it goes. I might use a darker color. So I'm going to do mainly up in here our tulips, but there will be like one or two that are kind of down low. So let's do one really big one right here. And the main shape is just going to be this kind of oval for the tulips. So all of the tulips are going to have that kind of main oval shape. So we're going to start out with a shape like that. And depending on how the petals fall, we're going to either have them overlapping this way, like this, or we're going to have this be the main petal, and we're going to see the sides of these two petals like that. So this one's in front, or these two are in front of this one right here. That makes sense. So we're going to kind of play with these shapes, but these will be our main two kind of overwhelming shapes. Is kind of this oval and some of them with like little tucks here, or two ovals kind of stacked side by side with another little bit showing right there. Okay. Then some of them will have I don't even know what this was from, so ignore that orange circle. I think I must have been showing somebody something in one of my art chats, I think. Anyhow, some of the petals are curved down. So some of them can curve like that where you're not going to see it because this one's in front, or we can have it go in front and that'll set that petal back. And so then we will want this one to be in front as well. And that could curve that way, like that. Okay, does that make sense, hopefully? Does that make sense?
Sure, it makes sense to me.
So I'm drawing that out. I was delaying for time here, trying to
Oh, because you don't want me to dry, huh?
let that dry.
I'm letting the union know
Well,
again.
you can dry. You want to dry it?
No,
Yeah, go ahead and dry
it's
it, and
too
I'll
late.
do Stickman really quick. Here, take it.
Man, I got to whine for it first, and then...
Huh?
Never mind. It's okay.
All right.
Okay, it's done.
Let me grab some of the...
Explain what you're doing there.
Yeah, Stickman is Mark's little creation here.
Little creation.
He draws a new Stickman every now and then, and I just add something to him depending on what we're painting that month. So we've got a lot of flowers going on this month. We've been in a spring kind of mood, I guess, ready for the weather to change. So we'll just add some tulips to our field over here. Add them to our little... I think we started out with the I want to say daffodils, and I know that's wrong. What were these? Dandelions. There. Gosh, couldn't think of the name. Dandelions, and then these were we did those when we did the roses, I think. Although they weren't roses at all. And then there's our finger painted nest. And if you missed the finger painting from Tuesday, I have to say it really turned out pretty cool. And was very easy, very short. Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, so let's see if we can get this to show up on here, because it's not wanting to show up. I may just have to paint them in for you. Yeah. You want to be careful not to scrape too hard on your canvas, especially when it's just drying. There, you might be able to see that. All right. So I want to make them fairly large, so I might make it even a little bit bigger than that. There we go. And then this one is going to have its petals coming up the side. And actually, I think I'm just going to put ovals, and then I'll worry about the petals later. So we'll do another one here, and another one like right here, and a smaller one right here. Right there, and then a little bitty one, real big one. I'm just kind of trying to figure out where to place them here. I'm going to move this one over a little bit. There we go. What are you laughing at?
Nina says that she likes your dancing poodle on your palette.
My dancing poodle I have put on here?
Yeah. Looks like it's got like a pink neck collar, and it does kind of look like a poodle.
I don't see it.
Look at it in the camera.
Oh, yeah. That's funny. Okay. Move this one down here. Really not going by the picture, obviously, so I'm kind of placing these where I want them to be. Moving them around a little bit. And another like smaller one right here. Okay. Using a wet cloth just to kind of wipe off any marks you don't want to show. And that is going to show, so I'm going to go ahead and put that back in because it was put on when it was wet. So we'll do one kind of off the side right there. Okay, I think that's good. So I'm going to get the Filbert here, and I'm going to put in my stems. Grab that teal, a little bit of the phthalo green, and mark in some of these stems. They're going to go right down off the end of the canvas. I'm using the edge of my brush. Actually, I'm going to do this one this way. Grab a little bit of white. There we go. Go back over these with the white.
So Letitia wants to know, do you sometimes sing while you're painting?
I do. I sing along to songs. Yeah, I do. I usually have my music blaring really loudly. Mark can say it's going up until the time we start videotaping. It's really weird not to have music on while I paint. Actually, yeah, I really miss it. But YouTube has copyright. Blah blah blah. Whatever. No. Copyright. No.
It's amazing. If you just turn the music up loud enough, you sound just like the artist.
It's true. It's true.
I find that.
Yeah, I didn't say I sing well. I just said I sing.
You'd be amazed at how similar I sound to Lady Gaga.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, just using the edge of my brush, I'm going to create some little leafy shapes up here. Kind of going up. This color is very watered down, so it's just barely kind of slightly covering. Create dramatic things happening. Okay. That's good enough for now. We'll probably mess with the stems more, but I did want to put those in just so that I have kind of a reference of where they're going to go. All right, so I'm going to start out by, let's start with the red and a little bit of the Quinacridone Magenta. I'm going to need more white. Grab a little bit of white. Make kind of a, it's a pretty color. Right. And I'm going to do my tulips with kind of a soft pressure so that the edges break up a little bit and get kind of blendy, looking blendy, that's a technical term. That'll give it that kind of soft, wispy look that we're looking for. See how that's kind of broken up, that edge is broken up. That's what I'm working towards today. I don't want it to be clean, but you can do yours, really clean if you want yours to look a little bit more like precise. But this is kind of going along with that background, that kind of impressionist feel that I'm trying to achieve on mine. So, but like I said before, you can always make it your own, do your own thing with it, make it more clean if that appeals to you more. All right, and I'm gonna now start creating some of these extra petals here. Maybe this one kind of bends out this way. This is just our first layer, so kind of trying to just shape out our flowers here with this. This layer. Okay.
So when people post their artworks in their social media, if they were to tag you, hashtag you, @tag you, whatever, it helps spread the word of the awesomeness.
That's right. Yeah, definitely. Definitely, that's one of the best ways of helping the channel is to just give a shout out to sort of link to the video or link to some of my social media here. I've added white to the Quinacridone Magenta now, and I'm just kind of going back over while this is still wet. I'm not wanting to get too far in before I do this so that it kind of blends with that layer there. Just adding a little bit of highlights along the tops of some of those flower petals. Just like that.
And so you had some milestones this week.
We did. It was really crazy milestone we hit. You can tell them.
Angela surpassed a total of 10 million views.
10 million. I feel like I need to put my hand by my mouth when I say that.
Put your pinky up by
my pinky up, yeah, by like Austin Powers.
Okay, but you got to be bald too, I guess.
10 million.
And did that, and your other video is approaching 1 million, so that'll probably be this week or next.
Yeah.
Just incredible.
Yeah, one of my videos, one of my first videos.
And
that'll be the first one to hit 1 million views.
We're trying to, these old people are trying to learn Snapchat.
I'm glad I'm not having to do that. I'm glad I have peoples for that.
I think your social media team has posted a couple Snapchats.
Nice.
I think they've worked.
Oh, good.
I think people in chat said, yeah, it worked, so.
Nice.
I got 2 Snap friends, I think, now.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hey, gotta start somewhere.
That's right. So if you want to see some behind the scenes pictures during the shows and things like that.
So things like Mark's foot, like that he was trying to get on camera last week, that I didn't let him, put on camera, and I won't let him do on my Instagram. We've been having a battle over Instagram for... Mark's my Instagram guy. He helps me with that because I'm really bad about remembering to do it. So he kind of took it over for me last year and tries to remind me to post, or he posts if I don't remember to post. And we've had to take some of the posts off because we had artistic differences about what Instagram should be like.
I'm being oppressed.
You are being oppressed. He's not able to put weird selfies or strange images on there. I'm like, no.
So as you were just getting finished telling everybody to express themselves in their paintings, except don't put a rubber glove on your foot and post it on the internet.
Exactly. Well, no, he's not on my Instagram page.
Okay, not on yours. Okay.
So Mark's got his own Snapchat now for Stickman Snapchat. So he can post all the weird pictures he wants on there. And I have no... What's the word I'm looking for? Except no responsibility for what may or may not occur on that.
That's right.
That page.
What you're about to see is not does not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of the artist.
That's it.
And in no way does she want to be associated with such foolishness.
It's not that. It's just that. Well, it's a discussion for another day.
Off air, I guess.
Instagram is a visual story. And a random foot picture in there in the middle of just doesn't really say what I'm trying to...
All these beautiful paintings and
exactly, and then
a foot with a glove on it.
Really? What is that? No, sorry, honey. That's got to go. All right. So I'm just trying to make these so that they're not all the same. I mean, tulips are, and really, I've saw pictures of tulips that were all, very similar. So, I mean, if you want to make them all kind of the same, feel free to do that. But I'm kind of trying to keep them a little bit random. I feel like I need one right in here. Just like a little baby one. They're all like two perfectly same separated. So let's get one that's kind of overlapping right here. Oops, I forgot that I put the stem over there, so darn it. That was dumb. I'll fix it. Sorry, I'm talking to myself. There we go. Let's put that one a little bit lower. And adding that little bit of white will help too, especially if you're using like a craft paint or something that's a little bit less opaque. Since we've got that layer of green down underneath, you'll want to have, you want to have a color that's going to cover it for you. We pop a little one in right here too. Okay, that's feeling better, I think. right, so I'm cleaning that out a little bit. And let's grab some of that white. And I can put out my fluorescent pink now. Make sure if you're using this that you shake it well, because the color settles in the bottom. And I got this in a set. That's the only way I've been able to find this color. Otherwise you have to buy a big thing of it, like 8 ounce, I think, or 4 ounce jar. So I didn't want that much, so I just got a little bottle that came in a set of other high flow paints, and I think I have that in my Amazon page if you want to look for it. So okay, so here's some of that fluorescent pink. Now I'm going to just start kind of figuring out where I want some of these highlights to go. I'm sort of laying in that, and I still had a little bit of that. I made a pink from the Quinacridone Magenta, so this is not just the fluorescent pink color. And the way I'm doing these brush strokes is to get them to kind of streak like that. You got to kind of do two things. You have very little paint on your brush, very light pressure when you apply it to the canvas, and you're kind of lifting. You're kind of flicking and lifting. It's this sort of half brush stroke. You're not pressing down too hard, and I'm not following the brush. I'm setting it down and just kind of pulling it and letting it lift so that the only part that's hitting the canvas is right there. And see how it lifts away from the canvas as soon as I flick it. So that's kind of what we're going for. If this is the canvas surface and my brush is setting on here, as I drag it, it will naturally lift off if I don't move my hand. So just kind of set it down right above where you want the color to go. Set your brush down and just kind of pull it with a quick little flicking motion, and you'll get this beautiful dragged dry brush effect. And this is where I'm kind of trying to create those overlapping petals. So we have the dark color, and now we're kind of creating some petals in front. Let's make this one in front.
Okay, so Sylvie wants to know what happens if you don't have a fluorescent pink.
Then just use your Quinacridone Magenta with white. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right, so my advice of throw the painting away isn't really good.
No.
Okay, sorry about that. Go dig it out of the trash real quick and...
Yeah. All right, so just adding little bits of highlight there. Okay, I'm going to clean that out. And we're going to add a little bit of purple glow to the bottom of each of these. So I'm going to grab the light ultramarine blue. I need to spray my palette. Those paints are getting sticky. And a little bit of the Dioxazine Purple. This will create kind of a pretty lavender color. And I'm going to set it at the bottom and pull up. Set it kind of straight up and then to the side on either side. To create like a little purple glow at the bottom of these flowers.
Okay, oh, now I lost the statement. Hold on one second.
Quinacridone Magenta here, and I'm adding that to that kind of purpley color.
Okay, Cynthia wants to know.
I'm going to kind of go over it a little bit to blend it in, just slightly, along that edge where it
She wants to know
connects.
if... Sorry.
Go ahead.
She wants to know if you know that you have an even number of tulips.
Uh-oh. No, I didn't know that. I don't think it's as important when it's this many. I think it's, it's more noticeable when you've got, smaller numbers to make sure that it's uneven. But once you get this many, I don't really pay that much attention.
So right now you have an even number of odds.
Even number.
And an even number of evens, too.
Oh, okay.
Or also an odd number of evens, so you've got all three covered. That's what we were going for. It's more advanced art.
Okay.
When you can have the even number of odds, odd number of evens, and even number of evens.
Okay. I don't even know what you're talking about.
Me either.
Okay.
That's okay. Me either.
Okay. Well, good, as long as we're both in the dark. Decided to go ahead and pull this petal out here a little bit. Open it up a little bit on that one. You might switch those. They can see this because you can't tell.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Sorry, the fans were crying desperately for side cam.
Were they? Okay. Well, you can just see what I did better on this one. Couldn't see it. It was too far away. All right, there we go.
Hey, at least I don't have to get out my feet to count on my toes on how many you have.
Okay, I think that's good. You can always add another one up here somewhere or down in here if you wanted, if it's bothering you to have the even number. Just lightly brushing off my chalk marks here. Oops, a little bit of paint there. If you do make a mistake or kind of, stick your hand in it like I just did, if you use a damp paper towel, you can usually get off that paint pretty quickly as long as it's still wet. So, okay, that's pretty good. And really we could leave it like that and call it done. I'm going to keep going, but if you're, first time painter and this is your first time doing it, I would say, you could stop at any time that you're happy with it. So I'm going to keep adding some other colors on there just for my own fun, but we're going to grab a little bit of that cadmium orange and some white, and it's mixing a little bit with that Quinacridone Magenta that I had down in this area here. So it's kind of a little bit softer. It's maybe like a salmon color. I'm going to brush off the extra on my paper towel. You can see my paper towel here. I'll kind of pull it in so you can see what I'm doing a little bit. But I'm always kind of adjusting the amount of paint I have on here so I don't have too much that's going to overwhelm my painting. So just take a little bit of it off there, and I'm going to pick a couple places where I want some brighter highlights to go. Same deal, just kind of setting it down and flicking to create that kind of dragged effect. This is going to be a brighter color. So it's going to go kind of in our brightest highlight area. So we'll figure out where the light's catching these tulips from. You can look at your reference photos to kind of see where the light areas are. Ours are kind of, mostly on the top area.
Karen would like me to remind you about the stem on the right.
Oh, yes, thank you. Thank you. I will. Okay, I'll do that right now while I'm thinking about it.
Somebody's paying attention to the video.
Thank you, Karen. All right, so this is Quinacridone Magenta mixed in with that color, and I'm just going to kind of go up below and sort of pull up in the opposite direction to kind of blend that really bright into the dark a little bit in a couple places where I feel like it needs it. It doesn't, maybe not need it everywhere, but just a couple areas here. Okay, I think that's good. Let me switch to my let's do the round brush. Here, I'll do my number 1 round here for the stem. What you laughing at?
Lily has said that she hasn't used burnt sienna yet.
Uh-oh. Okay. I was thinking I might use it in the background, for, you know, because sometimes I make that teal color out of the burnt sienna and phthalo blue, but I didn't end up wanting it, so that's why I had it out. But so yeah, you probably don't need it.
So Lily, I'm gonna make her put it back in the tube.
We will. Sorry about that. I'm just going to kind of blend out that previous stem that we kind of started there, so it's just sort of disappears. All right, grab some white here. And mix it with my phthalo blue, and I still have a little bit of that green on there. But our stem's very kind of blue in some places, so. Gonna go back over. I feel like that stem's kind of got off. Target. Do the darker color right up close. And here's where I'm gonna, it'll widen just slightly where it touches the tulip at the bottom. So I'm gonna try to make that on all of these more obvious. I really might have done better to save the stems to just draw them in with chalk and save them to do at this point, because they're kind of a little off center, some of them. Bugging me, but it is what it is.
Okay, so how are you getting the darker pink colors?
The darker pink?
Yeah.
Well, this was purple. This was quinacridone, or this was Dioxazine Purple and light ultramarine blue down here. And then the starting color was the Quinacridone Magenta and the red, the Naphthol Crimson. So that's what. So I started with the pretty dark color to begin with, and then we added the lighter colors over the top. Really not happy with that at all. There we go. trying to keep these very light and kind of soft, so if they get too dark, you can go back over with the lighter color to blend them in a little bit. Then I'm going to grab a little bit of the white and cadmium yellow and mix a little bit of the green in there with it, but mostly yellow. I want to keep it very light. And I'm going to go along one edge of these and add some highlight to my stems. And I'm going to do in small brush strokes, very light touch here, so that I'm getting kind of that soft dragged. And it actually, if you wanted to use a large flat brush, it might be a little bit easier to get a straight line with a large flat brush. Use the edge of it, and it's too obvious, you can kind of go back over with a little bit of that stem medium color from the stem there on that one. A little bit of light color. And then I'm going to add a little bit of that, just kind of run from the bottom up and just kind of drag some little light stem leafy things happening down here so that it's not, yeah, there we go. Okay. What are you laughing
at? Viewer who was a regular before, hasn't been here a while, girl next door, she joined in first time in a while. She says, I see nothing has changed. Angela makes it look so much easier than it really is.
Oh. All right.
I keep telling you to make it look harder.
Sorry.
You need to paint with your left hand. Kind of even the playing field.
I see. Okay.
Or foot.
I'm going to use this light ultramarine blue and a little bit of that fluorescent color. Grab a little bit of the Quinacridone Magenta. I'm going to try to make like a fuchsia out of it. Maybe a little bit of purple. Purple, Quinacridone Magenta, and that light ultramarine blue. Like an ultraviolet color, kind of bright fuchsia. It really, unless you use a fluorescent, I really don't think you're going to be able to get the vibrancy that you have in the real flower. Like in the photograph, I just wasn't able to achieve that really bright, like bubblegum fuchsia pink, no matter what colors I mixed with it. And Quinacridone Magenta is a pretty bright color to begin with. It's got a lot of saturation, a lot of really pretty brightness, but just, I don't know.
Okay, yeah, Angie would like to know if mixing white will do instead of titanium white.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
not dirty white.
All right, we'll try this color and see if we can get some of that purpley thing happening, some of it. I'm going to use it kind of just below my highlight color. Yeah, that's kind of helping a little bit, adding that kind of purple glow, fuchsia color, slightly. Yeah, okay. I'm kind of adding it towards the bottom, so as I'm and I don't have to do it on all of them, but see how that kind of adds that little bit of a glowing vibe to it, hopefully. Grab some more of that Quinacridone Magenta, and I'm going to beef up some of my shadow areas now. So I'm going to go back over. Add a little bit of that Quinacridone Magenta. Pull from the opposite direction so that it kind of covers over a little bit of some of these previous layers. Creates some depth in my flowers. Okay, and I think we're about done. Should we do this? I'm pretty happy with these, I think. So, like I said, you can keep playing with it until you decide yours is done. Grabbing some of that purpley color again there. Alright, I need to, this stem is bothering me over here. I'm going to mess with it a little bit right here, this guy. I feel like it needs to go this way, so maybe I'll just move it. Cover up that stem altogether. Just move it over. You're just trying to get the color closest to it in the background there. I'm just moving it over a little bit.
And do you know or think that the fluorescent pink by itself would give it that glow? That
no, because it's not this. It's not the right color. It's a too bright of a you can kind of see. I mean, it's not that purple. I was going for that I can't point to it, but that color that's like on that first one. If you look right there on that first one, that little first blob of that really bright fuchsia color, that's the color I'm going for. And this is not close enough to it. It's not that. It's more of this is more of an orangey tone than a purple tone. So I think if you use maybe fluorescent magenta, or if you could find a fluorescent color am I thinking of? Fuchsia. Fluorescent fuchsia of some sort. Maybe a fluorescent purple, I'm not sure. I'm going to grab this light ultramarine blue here, and I'm going to add some of that to some of these stems. There we go. Grab some of that phthalo blue, add a little bit of it just right where it connects to the stem. This brush is way too big for this, so I'll switch to a smaller brush, but I'm too lazy to do that, so I'm gonna Alright, and then I'm going to put this petal over the top of this stem to push it back a little bit because I feel like it's kind of looking weird. So I'm going to grab a little bit of the Quinacridone Magenta and the white, and I'm going to go right over the top of that stem right there. Widen out that flower a little bit, push that stem behind. And do the same thing with this one. Move that over on top of that stem a little bit. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy with that. And at this point, what I usually do is I stop and kind of look at it and make sure my values are dark enough. So just make sure that I have really deep dark areas in my flowers and bright highlights, and that's what gives it good dimensions. So so here I've got Quinacridone Magenta. I can go in and just kind of lightly darken up a couple of areas if I feel like it needs it, and then go in with my white and just a little tiny bit of the Quinacridone Magenta color, or whatever color I decide I want it for my highlights, and add just a touch, just a tiny little pop, and that's not bright enough. Just a pop of color to really make a bright highlight in just a couple places. And this is where you really have to be careful, because this can make it can overwhelm it, and you can lose all of your depth pretty quickly if you do too much and cover up too much of this middle value stuff. So so I'm just going to pick a few little areas to pop. See the difference between these ones and these ones. Like this one I haven't done yet. See how much more they kind of pop out at you. So that's what we're kind of going for, is just a little bit of extra something to bring those petals to life. Very little bit will do. You don't need a lot. Okay. Here again, flicking, just not dragging, just flicking that wrist so that it's just barely brushing the canvas. Right, I'm going to add a little bit of this color on my stems. Okay, and then if you wanted to, you could use a little bit of this pink up here in the sky too, or in the background. Just add a few dabs of that pink color to our background. You could even add some of the darker fuchsia color if you wanted to, but I think that just a little bit of that color will help. use a little bit of that fuchsia color. All right, I'm going to call that good. Good enough. I could keep messing with it for a while, but I think it's good enough. I'm going to sign it. I'm going to put it up about a finger's width above, and I'm using my Sakura Pigma pen. If you want a softer color, you could use your liner brush. Make sure you water down your paint quite a bit. And that way, you need to put it up high off your canvas so that if you ever frame it, because the frame will cover up the bottom 1/4 inch or so and sides all the way around. All right, there we go. Hope you guys enjoyed that. We really enjoyed bringing it to you today. And if you want to try it, you can share it with me on all my social media links down in the description. Give it a thumbs up, like, subscribe to my channel if you want to see more of these. And what? Oh, and yeah, check out Patreon if you want the traceable for this. I will be drawing this out from this example and putting the traceable on Patreon later today or tomorrow. Probably today. And just need to let it dry. So sometimes I forget and do it till the next day. But anyhow, thanks so much, guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye.